Sweden is losing its identity. What started out as an idea to help those in need has gradually taken over the country, turning its cities into some of the most dangerous places on earth. This is all because of Sweden's terrible immigration policies that have destroyed what makes Sweden the amazing country it is in only a few years. Sweden has been a wealthy, developed, and friendly country for years and consistently ranks as one of the happiest nations in the world. Sweden is often regarded as a great country due to its strong economy, high quality of life, and progressive policies.
This level of not only strong incomes, but even incomes looks like a really positive thing on paper. And for the most part, it is. Even average workers in less marketable professions can maintain a comfortable standard of living. This level of equality is something that most Swedes pride themselves on. But it does mean for people that would rather play with marbles and Lego all day, that they have the ability to do so without becoming destitute.
Sweden is known for excelling in having a strong social welfare system with things like parental leave, subsidized education, great work-life balance, and vacation, as well as being home to some of the biggest innovations in the world such as Volvo and Spotify. The country is also much more progressive than any other Western countries, with having things such as same-sex marriage be legal since 2009. The Swedish mentality is to be open and welcoming to others, which is why the country has opened their doors for refugees to protect them from persecution. Now, it's possible that Sweden had high hopes for these modern-day refugees as their programs to help others had been successful in the past. During the 1970s, Sweden saw a large surge of Chileans entering their country to avoid Pinochet and his dictatorship, and with that brought around 30,000 immigrants from the 70s to 90s. The Chileans that came to the country had appeared to be perfectly integrated into society, and many have returned to Chile since their country started to become safer again. Sweden helped thousands of people escape the fear of mass arrests, executions, and human rights abuses, and has been praised for their efforts in doing so. However, Swedish hospitality and openness is being completely exploited. Many of these refugees that have been coming to the country from Middle Eastern countries are not even making the slightest attempt to integrate into the new country and have been treating Sweden just as bad as the place that they fled from.
Sweden has sadly suffered a mass migration disaster. In 2015, with the Syrian war, Sweden decided to lead the way, open their hearts to mass migration. Sweden had an all-time high of immigration in 2016, with over 160,000 people entering the country. In 2016, 2.14 out of 10.61 million of the population were now foreign-born. A rapid demographic shift, different attitudes towards women and gay people and work ethic, with little policy or heed given to how to integrate communities. Most places in the world do not have societies like this. They do not view freedom in the same way that we do. Our overconfidence that people will arrive in our countries and simply embrace these values with open arms without any strategy to integrate is really our downfall.
To make matters worse, many of these refugees in Sweden don't actually fear persecution in their home countries. Thousands of those so-called refugees who will go back to Syria, Iraq, and other Muslim countries for vacations to go enjoy their home countries that they claim to be in complete fear of living in. This trend has grown where these people aren't anything more than economic refugees, meaning people who are only trying to get into more developed countries to make more money, but will pull the persecution card in order to gain access into these places, such as Sweden. And it's worked well because they know Sweden will allow this behavior. Swedes are known to be cold and quiet, and that causes them to ignore the issues of these people taking over and ruining their once beautiful country. Many cultures don't blend with Sweden, and we can see the destruction when religion and other beliefs have taken over the country and the Swedes and other Europeans in the country don't speak out in fear of being seen as racist or xenophobic. It shows us that multiculturalism doesn't work. There are cultures that don't blend with others, as we see with Swedish culture trying to blend with Syrian culture, for example. Their foundations aren't the same, and the problems that the Middle Easterns claim to be fleeing are following them into Sweden and other Western countries now as well. This invasion has made the country become one of the most dangerous in the European Union, and Sweden has seen a rise in gang violence, particularly shootings and bombings. And however the situation has worsened in certain areas, Sweden is still generally a safe country compared to many others. But what's changed? In the last decade, criminal gangs have expanded, especially in major cities like Stockholm, Gothenburg, and Malmö. Many of these gangs are involved in drug trafficking, extortion, and violent disputes. Some immigrant-heavy neighborhoods suffer from poverty, high employment, and lack of opportunities that lead to crime. And Sweden's historically open-door immigration policy, as we mentioned earlier, has brought many refugees, but integration efforts struggle, leaving many communities marginalized. To gain Swedish citizenship, it is no longer a requirement to even speak the language, and gaining a passport as a refugee is easier than most EU and Western countries in terms of refugee status. A country that doesn't force its immigrants to truly integrate is going to have a division with those who are truly citizens or have integrated and those who don't make the attempt to become part of the society. The issues have reached a boiling point, and many citizens of other EU countries are pleading that their countries take caution. Germany, the UK, and France are three large examples of the rising crime, loss of the country's identity due to mass immigration, of those who do not truly care to integrate. The idea of preserving your country is now seen as an extreme right-wing idea, and a harmful one at that. But it's not only for these European countries like Sweden who desperately want to keep their culture and home the same as it once was. If roles were reversed, these immigrants who are so adamant on their cultures, religions, and more being more important than their new homes, they'd also hate to see their home countries change due to mass immigration. So the whole situation is extremely hypocritical. If Sweden doesn't get their act together soon, the EU will quickly find out just how destructive people are that don't share the same goal and mindset as them can be.